Hello everyone, today is 20th of October, Sunday, so I hope you have a wonderful day and weekend. Now it's about 11:30 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I'll share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. And there are quite a few very significant developments and news that I'd like to share with you for this moment. Although before I start, let me ask you, if I may, to click that like button and leave some commentary. That may help to overcome these artificial obstacles that extremely aggressive algorithm is creating, especially on YouTube. And well, that's been said, let's go through some news now. And first of all, this report from TASS news agency, and of course many other media outlets here in Russia also report about it, that during the last night and the early hours of this morning, Russian air defense systems intercepted and suppressed about 110 Ukrainian slash NATO drones. And I say NATO because we all understand that the flight path and targeting data is provided for these drones for long-range strikes by NATO member states, first of all US and UK. To be more precise, on this large-scale long-range attack on Russia, I'll give you this news that 47 drones, Ukrainian slash NATO drones, were intercepted over the Kursk region, 27 drones over the Lipetsk region, 18 drones over the Oryol region, 8 drones over the Nizhegorodsky region, also 7 drones over the Belgorod region, 6 drones over the Bryansk region, and 1 drone even reached Moscow region and was destroyed there over the Moscow region, not far away from Russia's capital. RIA Novosti is also reporting that as a result of Russian long-range precise strikes on military and logistics infrastructure of the Kiev regime in Zaporozhye direction, a number of infrastructure, energy infrastructure and some strategic infrastructure was destroyed and damaged. This information was confirmed by Kiev regime's representatives also, and I saw reports on some Telegram channels that Russian armed forces conducted long-range precise strikes also in direction of Kiev regime, in direction of Kiev region, and number of other areas. During the day, we might receive some additional detailed information on that, and of course, I will share that information on my Telegram. TASS news agency is reporting that Kazan's international airport was stopped operations for several hours this morning due to some security concerns, and this is quite understandable. Kiev regime and NATO were conducting these large-scale drone attacks deep inside the Russian territory, and it does make sense that local authorities made decision to halt flights from Kazan airport, and I believe Russian militaries, Russian emergency services, security services will do whatever it takes to make sure that upcoming BRICS summit in Kazan, which is capital of Russia's Tatarstan Autonomous Republic, will take place in safe, absolutely safe environment. BRICS summit will start on 22nd of October and last until 24th. Although, by the way, while knowing perfectly well what kind of individuals are representatives of the Kiev regime and their Western masters, hardly anybody can be surprised if during the Kazan summit, Kiev regime and NATO will conduct yet another terrorist attacks to strike deep inside Russian territory, including in direction of Kazan. And if that happens, I guess Moscow will have no option but to shut down entire Kiev controlled territory. And probably that's what I would do anyways. I will say, you know what, from now on anything is legit target on Kiev controlled territory, and anyone that are connected in any hostilities against Russia, including Western delegations that every other day are visiting Kiev, right? That's what I would do. If NATO will dare to attack Kazan during BRICS summit. And to be honest, I'm surprised. By the way, I never see military conflict like this when Russian side is not just extremely cautious, but almost does whatever it can to not harm leadership of enemies. I mean, this is the strangest stuff for me personally that I have ever seen. Usually, whenever there is a military confrontation, sides are going after leadership of their enemies, right? Kiev regime targeted Kremlin, by the way. We all remember that, isn't it? But Russia did not retaliate in the same way. Russia is not targeting military and political leadership of enemies of Russia, which is, to me personally, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but to me personally, this is quite strange. I would if I was in charge, I would definitely make sure that leadership of my enemies are neutralized in the very first hour of the beginning of the special military operation. That's what I would do, because it does make sense to me. But yet again, I'm not in charge, right? Well, to continue, dear friends, RT is reporting that France backs Zelensky's victory plan. Why am I not surprised? Nowadays, almost nothing surprises me, really, especially when it comes to collective West or Western ruling so-called elites. And because, I mean, those degenerates already proved many times that they are imbeciles, right? And are capable of anything. And for example, French foreign minister was in Kiev yesterday, and he made this statement that France is ready to rally Western countries behind Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky's victory plan. Okay, this Jean-Noël Barrot, foreign minister of France, is a total degenerate, obviously, and I truly don't think he represents French public. I don't think vast majority of France really wants to die. I mean, to put it simply, I really don't think that vast majority of the French people are suicidal, right? And the so-called victory plan of Zelensky means that almost everybody on this planet will die, right? Because he wants Ukraine to become a member of the NATO first. That's the first point in his so-called victory plan. He wants long-range strikes to be conducted by NATO on Russia. And I say by NATO because even if Western ruling class is pushing hardly this narrative that this topic is all about giving permission to Kiev regime to conduct such strikes, everyone knows that Kiev regime cannot use those weapon systems, cannot conduct long-range strikes without direct involvement of the NATO, right? NATO military and intelligence. And Russian president, by the way, was very clear that if such long-range strikes will take place, that would be received by Moscow as direct attack of NATO member states, and Moscow will retaliate in appropriate manner, right? And therefore, I really don't think that public in France or in Germany, or in UK, or in US, for that matter, are suicidal, or at least majority, and they want a full-scale nuclear war to start between Russia and NATO and everybody to die. I don't think so. But some elements in the Western ruling class, they are so stupid, literally so stupid, that out of their ignorance and stupidity, they might provoke, by the way, they might provoke something that not just the Western world is not ready for, but the entire world is not ready, right? So, yes, that's imbecile, man. Why he was even allowed to enter Kiev-controlled territory? He is a legit target, isn't it? French leadership is clearly enemies of Russia. And as I said, by the way, if it was up to me, I would make sure that enemies of Russia are neutralized with whatever means are necessary, right? I don't give a damn. I don't play games or anything like that. You are my enemy. I want you to be, that's it. Maybe one day, because anything that has its beginning has its end also, and I guess patience of the Russian leadership also has its end. I just wonder where that end is, but should be somewhere there, isn't it? So yes, France wants World War III to happen and everybody to die. French leadership wants that. Okay. I hope among Western ruling class there are some more adequate people also, and they will not allow these morons to really provoke full-scale nuclear exchange. RT is reporting that the US is to pay $20 billion into loan for Ukraine. Okay, and on 20 billion. The US is set to provide up to 20 billion to Ukraine as a part of G7 loan, which will then be repaid using proceeds generated by the Russian assets immobilized by the West as a part of Ukraine-related sanctions. Financial Times has reported, citing sources. So okay. West is stealing Russian assets and finally destroying whatever was left from reputation or from the trust towards Western financial and the banking system. And that's all. And of course, U.S. taxpayers, U.S. taxpayers in this particular case, European taxpayers, whenever London or Brussels are doing something, they are ones that will pay. Literally, right, for all the expenses and for everything that will that Western world will face due to these crazy policies of their leadership. Anyways, RBK is reporting that head of Pentagon, Lloyd Austin, were unable to confirm these rumors that are circulating on internet that military personnel of North Korea is deployed in Russia and are about to participate in a special military operation. This information originally was generated by Zelensky's regime, right? They start pushing this narrative that North Korean soldiers, some 10,000, 15,000, million, 2 million, are in Russia and going to participate in hostilities. If you listen to the regime, they already are participating in hostilities. I don't take these rumors seriously, by the way. I ignore these rumors. I did not even pay any attention to it. And I was a bit surprised when some big channels were talking about it like it is factual. It is not factual, by the way. Russia don't need no North Korean troops to conduct any military operation anywhere, right? And Russian Defense Ministry is receiving applications, thousands of applications on daily basis, right? From citizens of Russia to join army, and majority of those applications are disapproved. So when there is such situation that every single day 1,000, 1,500 men are joining an army, why you need some, I don't know, 10,000 North Korean soldiers, man, or 15,000 or whatever number it is? Well, finally Lloyd Austin was asked about it. Can he confirm this information? And he said that no, he cannot confirm this information. Okay. And dear friends, meanwhile, I would not be surprised at all if certain contingents from friendly nations are in Russia to participate in some military exercises, including North Korean troops. Why not? They just recently, Russia and North Korea signed up this comprehensive cooperation agreement, isn't it? Which means cooperation between militaries also. And of course, North Korean militaries can be in Russia and undergo some training, receive some additional experience. They might learn modern elements of warfare, right? Or elements of modern warfare, tactics, strategies, and so on. Very same way, Chinese militaries probably also are looking for more information, more understanding, more knowledge about modern warfare. in high intensity conflicts, and Chinese militaries, some officers also can be in Russia and cooperate closely with Russian Defense Ministry to learn some tactics and strategies that were used there during the special military operation. Indian militaries can do the same. Why not? What is the problem, right? But to say that regular forces of any other countries are in Russia to participate in military hostilities, military operations in non-special military operation, that's huge exaggeration, isn't it? And same time, one should keep in mind that anybody in this world, literally anybody, can apply to serve in Russian army. You may be citizen of Russia or non-citizen of Russia. You can apply to serve in Russian army, and I will not be surprised at all if number of North Korean citizens, number of Chinese citizens will apply to serve in Russian army. This is a well-paid job, really, to be military in Russia, right? If you want to receive Russian citizenship, this is the closest path, really shortest path. You can serve in army, and then you will get Russian citizenship without some heavy bureaucracy, let's say. And there are examples when citizens of many other countries are joining Russian army exactly because they want to become Russian citizen, right? And also, they're making some good buck, for God's sake, man. It's a well-paid job, really. A risky, but well-paid job, right? And there may be some citizens of North Korea, China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Mali, Ghana, South Africa, Venezuela, even US, by the way, or France or Germany or whichever country in this world. There may be citizens of those countries that are serving in Russian army, but that don't mean that US militaries are fighting along Russian troops against Kiev regime, right? If US citizens are in Russian army. So it is what it is, man. I hope I explained at least my take on this situation, because quite a big channels, by the way, these days were reporting about these North Korean troops, and I saw one military channel, by the way, report from Dima that 10 to 15,000 North Korean soldiers may even participate in operations in the Kursk salient to liberate Suja and stuff. I find it difficult to, believe in that. I just, it is what it is. Although, as I said, citizens of North Korea, if they are allowed by their own government to join Russian army, then they can join Russian army, and then it depends in which unit they will be, and it depends on their commanding officers where they will serve, in the zone of special military operation, in zone of counter-terrorist operation in Kursk salient area, or maybe in Kamchatka, by the way. I don't know, right? But they are serving now in Russian army as citizens, right, of foreign countries, not as representatives of their militaries, foreign militaries. Anyways, let's continue, dear friends, and I have this news for you, that Vice Prime Minister of Serbia, Vulin, was very much not happy that Russia was not invited on events commemorating liberation of their Auschwitz Birkenau concentration camp, which was liberated by Red Army, by the way. This is Poland, right? This camp was on Polish territory, and it was liberated by Russian Soviet troops, and many people were saved, right? And Russia was not invited. And Vice Prime Minister of Serbia was upset about it. So Serbian Deputy Prime Minister Aleksandar Vulin called Russia's absence from the event in honor of the liberation of the Auschwitz violation of the historical truth and their insult to the victims, emphasizing the importance of the liberator countries' participation. Scientific conference on the liberation of Belgrade and Serbia in World War II has opened at the representative office of the Rossatrudnichestva in Belgrade, RIA Novosti reports. At the event, Vulin stressed the importance of Russia's participation in the anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp. The Serbian Deputy Prime Minister stressed that the absence of the Russian side at the event is a violation of historical truth and an unacceptable insult to the memory of their victims, which is absolutely true, isn't it? He also said that Serbia and Russia cannot allow history to be rewritten by these elements in some states in the West. But unfortunately, this process of history being rewritten, especially in the collective West, hardly can be stopped at this point. And I guess in few decades, generations will grow up in Europe that would not even know. For example, when it comes to Auschwitz-Birkenau, they probably would not even know who liberated whoever was still alive at those camps during the Second World War. They would not know that it was Soviet soldiers that fought, and many of them died while liberating prisoners of those camps. And many generations, just give it another couple of generations, and majority probably in Europe would not even know that it was Soviet Union that basically take out a vast majority of the armed forces of Nazi Germans, right? Vast majority of the German divisions, right? They would not know true about history at all. Even now, younger generations in Europe probably have no idea about Second World War, and as time goes by, situation will only get worse. And this is dangerous, because if you don't know history, if you don't know past, then it is highly likely that you will repeat all the mistakes that was made in that past, right? And as one say goes, if you don't know your history, then you have no future. Anyways, let's continue, and let me notice, dear friends, before I will share some more news, that this small channel of mine, this small media project with several channels actually on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, is completely subscriber funded and fully depends on your support. And I will be immensely grateful if you will consider to support my work, this project, with a donation or by subscribing to my Patreon and Boosty pages. All the links, by the way, to my PayPal, to crypto wallet, to Boosty and Patreon are under this video in description box and in the pinned comment. And many thanks to all the members of our community who provided support and continues to support my work. Truly grateful for this unique opportunity to work in this field of news and political commentary, and I hope I am useful, dear friends, for community. I'm trying as much as I can to provide interesting, informative content. Kommersant newspaper is reporting that Israel, during the previous 24 hours, conducted 175 strikes on Gaza Strip and Lebanon. Unfortunately, the escalation is still nowhere in sight, sir. Only escalation day in, day out. Also, Kommersant newspaper is reporting that in Moldova, there is a presidential elections today and also a referendum about joining the EU. And well, local puppet regime of the CIA under leadership of Maya Sandu did whatever they could to somehow not allow or cut off opposition supporters of the opposition or opponents of the EU joining Moldova joining EU or NATO from participating in these elections. And simple example is that in Russia, by the way, there is about 500,000 citizens of Moldova that are living in Russia, working here, and authorities of Moldova send only 10,000 bulletins. Only 10,000 bulletins. So from these 500,000 people, potentially only 10,000 can vote. So another 490,000 was cut off from these elections and the referendums. And you tell me, by the way, for a country that only has like few million citizens, how big of influence on elections that actions of the Moldova's government would have, when 500,000 people being cut off from elections to participating in elections just in one country, in Russia. So let's see what numbers will come up, but I'm quite sure CIA and their assets in Moldova will do whatever they can, including falsification of their numbers, to show up, to come up with the final results that Maya Sandu or whoever is chosen by CIA is remains as will be next president of Moldova, and they will come up with number that majority of Moldovians voted to join EU. This is fake, by the way. This is fake, and that's why I'm saying Moldova is destined to be broke up on several parts. I don't see this republic on the political map in next 3 to 5 years. After next 3 to 5 years, it's done. It's done deal. Most likely, some parts of Moldova will become a part of Romania, and other parts of Moldova will try to go independent or maybe join Russia. I don't know, but Moldova itself will not survive. It's just not happening. RT is reporting that Pyongyang displays a suspected South Korean drone. If you remember, dear friends, a few days ago I reported that North Korean leadership was blaming South Korea for conducting some drone flights over the North Korea. Seoul denied these accusations, and well, one of the drones were probably suppressed by radio electronic warfare system. Something happened with it, and it just fell down, and it was stuck on a tree, as you can see here. And that's this drone, so it is factual now. I mean, there's no way to deny, right? So North Korea was very upset about this violation of its airspace by South Korea, and very strong warnings was given to Seoul that if further military provocations by Seoul risks leading to a declaration of the war. That's what North Korean military has warned about, and Seoul should be careful, by the way. Seoul should be careful. I understand that they are under heavy influence of Washington, and Washington wants provocations and destabilization all around the world. Divide and conquer is their main postulate of the Western ruling class, isn't it? But authorities in Seoul, they should think about what they are doing, because I mean, North Korea can overrun South Korea in matter of, I don't know, months, maybe 2 months. Do they really want this to happen? I don't think so. And they should keep in mind that now North Korea and Russia have an agreement in place, including about mutual military assistance in case of foreign attack. And if North Korea will state that these drone flights are declaration of war and all hostilities will begin, then, well, Russia probably will provide some significant assistance to North Korea to take out its enemies, and you know, that's why I'm saying Seoul should be careful. I mean, before Western ruling class provoked this proxy war against Russia on this so-called Ukraine, before that, Seoul had quite a good working relationship with Moscow, and it was beneficial for both sides. And they should think a little more. Do they really want to cease to exist? Really? I don't know. World is changing rapidly, and whichever country worldwide was thinking that, well, Washington is their boss and Washington will take care of them. Well, Washington barely can take care of itself, by the way. You know, Trump himself, just like a few days ago during his interview on PBD, said it quite clearly, isn't it, that Washington barely can manage things inside US, right? It's stretched so much so that, you know. Anyways, let's continue. RBK is reporting that, well, Elon Musk, by the way, Elon Musk, once again, quite vocal in criticism of Kamala Harris, Democrat candidate, and he is saying that if Kamala Harris is to win presidential elections, then bye-bye free speech in US. Censorship will reach whole new level, and you know, one may argue that US as we know it will finish on that. Maybe. I mean, Elon Musk is an active supporter of Trump, obviously, and he is using any opportunity to support Trump and his campaign and to criticize Kamala Harris and her campaign. But he might have some points there, because after all, we'll remember a couple of weeks ago, Hillary Clinton was complaining that they are losing full control over or total control over the narratives. John Kerry directly was attacking First Amendment in U.S. Constitution, which is about exactly free speech, right? Freedoms, and therefore, if these neolibs are to win these upcoming so-called elections, it hardly can be called elections. By the way, it's some show, really. So if after this show neolibs are to stay in power, then yes, US will probably change big time. US will change big time, and censorship, total censorship, will become a norm. And Elon Musk said himself, isn't it, recently during his conversation with Tucker Carlson, that he is effed up in that case, and probably all his businesses, you know, especially X, formerly known as a Twitter. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not an expert in U.S. internal politics and stuff, but based on the statements from leading figures among these neolibs in U.S., one may assume that yes, they are all against, all about banning free speech completely. That's what they are all about. Anyways, RT is reporting that Apple removes US state media from Russian App Store. Apple has informed the US state-run Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, that its current time TV media project will be removed from their App Store in Russia. The network announced on Saturday the app was taken down because its feature-reader content that is illegal in Russia and did not comply with the verification rules, Current Times said on the website, citing a letter from the US tech giant. According to the network, Apple also warned that their app had content produced by an organization that was blacklisted in Russia. So, well, interesting news. Interesting news. A US propaganda outlet is removed from App Store in Russia, which demonstrates, by the way, that well, seems like Apple that heavily depends on certain economies in this world, or heavily depends on the BRICS economies, let's say this way, is now taking more cautious approaches, right? And they're no longer willing to mess around Moscow, right? And I guess more and more businesses in the West will do the same, because if they are messing around Moscow, they are messing around BRICS, and if they are messing around BRICS, they are finished. As simple as that. You know, as simple as that. Okay, and that's it. That was it, by the way, for today's, I hope, relatively short update. Let's check it. Yes, relatively short update. 36, 37 minutes are quite okay, I guess. And hopefully you will find this video entertaining, informative, useful. And if so, please, once again, click that like button if you have not, and leave some commentary just about anything. Any topic will do, to at least try and influence this immensely aggressive algorithm, especially on YouTube. And if you can, please share information about my channel with your friends on YouTube, on YouTube, on any of the platforms, by the way, on internet that you are actively using, and in real life, life. I believe there are very many people that would like to receive information from Russian channel especially about developments that are connected with Russia. But my channel is in shadow ban, and therefore very rarely are in recommendations. And finally, dear friends, if you like my work, if you think me and my channels deserve to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support with donation through PayPal or Boosty platforms, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And when it comes to Patreon, for our Patreon community members, I will say that later today I will publish a new episode, this week's episode of Behind the Scenes, and I hope you will find that video entertaining and interesting. So yes, this is it for now, dear friends. Have a wonderful day, and see you tomorrow.